Grace, mercy, and peace. I am Dr. Elliot, both Archbishop and Apostle in the Lord's Church, and I wanted to take this brief moment of time to do a teaching a bit on a word that we find in the Bible that we often use even in the church, and the term is demonstrate. Demonstrate or demonstration, whichever variation of the word that you want to utilize, but demonstrate. Amen. And so in that, let me first give what we declare the definition in our Western world culture, because oftentimes we as believers, when it comes to reading the Bible and using our interpretation, we often default only to what we understand it out of our culture versus also getting into the depth of seeing, okay, what was it translated from out of Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic, so that I can ensure that what I understand it in my Western world culture matches up with what it was implying out of its Eastern world culture, so that we can ensure that we've got a foundational understanding of the term. Amen. So in that, let me at least give you the definition so you can see as I make the comparison. So when we look at it out of our Western world definition, it's a verb that means to give a practical exhibition and explanation of how a machine or skill or craft works or how it is performed. So basically saying, giving an explanation of how something works. As we say, a demonstration for what we understand. I tell you something and then I put it into action so that you can see from start to finish what I have said in order to see and determine complete understanding, because that's the intent of a demonstration. Amen. So now we find the word demonstration referenced in the New Testament in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 4. I'm going to use that as a scriptural reference, and it says, "And my speech and my preaching was not without enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power." Okay, so now the word demonstration that we find used here is the Greek word apodixis. Apodixis, which means to make manifest, or to prove, or to test, or to show off, or to exhibit. So in that, demonstration out of the Greek means more than just to show somebody how something is done. It means to manifest what has been said. So it can be understood, like we say in our Western world culture, of me showing you how something is done, but it's the more of the intent of making the manifestation. I declare something and then it comes into fruition. So now what I'm speaking becomes the reality for those who have heard what I said. And so in that, it proves itself or shows itself to exist. So this is more of the depth of demonstration from the Greek context than what we understand from the Western world. Not to say that what we understand out of our Western world culture is in error, but what I am saying, under Greek context, we find that it implies itself more to embracing the manifestation of what's being said, so that people can see that what is being declared is a reality for those who are hearing what's said. Now, I will say we don't find, or I haven't crossed any reference of the word demonstrate being used in the Old Testament. However, the closest thing that we can find is the word show. Because when we look at the word show, like for instance in Genesis chapter 12 verse 1, and show is not spelled S-H-O-W, in the Old Testament it's spelled S-H-E-W. We find that it is a variation of what we're saying, to demonstrate. So like for instance Genesis 12:1. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, "Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land I will show thee." And the word that you hear is Reah, which is of a variance when we look in the Strong's Concordance. Out of Reah, there's different variations of that terminology, in which more detailed of Reah is Rafal, which means to exhibit or cause to show or to display. the act of presenting something to sight for view. So it's presenting something so that one sees something for their clear understanding. So in that, we find this is the terminology that closely fits to what we would understand demonstrate from the Old Testament or out of the Hebraic dialect. So, in that, I pray that I've given you a little bit of information just to try and bring a little more clarity to what you may understand regarding demonstrate, and hopefully it will cause you to do more of an in-depth research of the Bible and of the words that are being said to have a better understanding, have a better impact to your faith as you continue in your journey with pursuing the things of the Lord. So with that being said, blessings unto you, and I hope that this has encouraged you in some shape, form, or fashion to help you do a little bit more in your quest of the things of the Lord.